the call, it's the lion's share. It's the lion's share. It's the lion's share. It's the
Welcome
lion's
back.
share.
Welcome into the Lion's Share, recapping Lions versus Eagles for Week 11 in the NFL. And man, was it an ugly one? Lions fall 16-9. That's right. The Lions offense held to just 9 points last night out there in the city of brotherly love. Lions got bullied up front by a really strong Eagles front, and Eagles get a pivotal win in the NFC. Lions now sitting here at 6-4. Guys, there's a lot of negativity in the air right now. Always is after a loss. Is it justifiable? How negative things are out there right now?
I can feel it coming in the air. I don't know, Mitch. You tell me. What was your thoughts on it? Any negativity on your end?
You're trying to fire me up, and I'm not going to let you do it. I think anyone who's upset about last night is justified. I think it's another one of those games where they did everything they possibly could have to lose the game, starting with JMO quite literally costing the team a point. And I think that cascaded into situational football where Dan feels the need to score a touchdown because if they get a field goal, they're down 4 points. So you're going to have to score anyways. So he's trying to force it when the offense really isn't doing anything. Whereas they get that 1 point, you get a field goal, you get another field goal, you're tied. So, yeah, just sloppy all around. I don't really know what to say. Apologies to all NFL fans out there. Couldn't buy a catch that wasn't right in someone's chest plate. I think that was pretty bad. Amon-Ra, two catches on 12 targets last night. Seeing some things we've never seen out of Amon-Ra this year. JMO, some drops too. Again, there was a couple plays, right, where like they went for it on 3rd and 4th, either right around the red zone, and it's easy to say, hey, why are you going for it? But again, situationally, where the score was, also ball hit Amon-Ra in the hands, ball hit JMO in the hands, like 2 conversion passes. They couldn't buy a fourth down conversion, barely a 3rd down conversion last night. So the offense was a calamity. Credit to the Eagles. They probably have the best interior defensive line in the NFL. I don't think it's particularly close with the combination they have there. Yeah, they just couldn't get going. No rhythm last night. And I have some thoughts on like the future state of the Lions, but last night was just bad. But shout out to the defense. Defense played unbelievable. I thought Dan hung them out to dry time after time after time. And defense probably gave up, what would you guys say, one complete drive from the Eagles, and that was it. I thought the defense was outstanding last night.
Yeah, speaking of the defense, I had the longtime Lion reach in and say that he said that was probably the best defensive performance he's seen in his lifetime from the Lions there. So hung out to dry is a term. That's true. Does Goff normally wear gloves? That was something I kind of had an eye on.
I think Goff wears the gloves when it's cold outside, and there was something to be said last night for the placement of it. Lots of low balls last night. He just couldn't get the balls to where guys needed them to be. Outside of like the dink and dunk to Gibbs, who is right up there with the defense for like try to put the team on your back, and you just can't. It's like euchre. Like you can count on your partner for one. Gibbs in the defense could not count on anybody for anything last night.
A lot of pressure in his face too, and we'll touch on the offensive line. A lot of throws off schedule in the weather. Very windy out there, at least to start the game. I think the wind died down as the game went on, and we could see that from the kicking game. It got a little bit more easy as the game went on, but it's certainly in the elements out there in Philadelphia, and just wasn't complimentary. That's really what it comes down to. There was a lot of things wrong with the offense that you guys touched on. It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't a situation where, man, if they would have made just a couple more plays, although they were never really out of this game. They lose by 7. They were always in this game, but it just never felt like they were ever going to have that chance to take over that leap. It was like death by 1,000 cuts out
I
there.
think you're exactly right. It never felt like they were ever in it, even though they were one possession away. You had zero trust in the offense to put together a drive to even get into the end zone. I really couldn't even see that happening all game. They just looked so incomplete. And Amon-Ra looking like we said it, let down Brown on third down there. It's a tough look, and I don't know how many passes should he be catching on the Jugs machine a day? Was it 205 now? Is that where he should be at?
Starting to wonder if he's doing any at all.
It's tough.
Let down Brown, though. I think you've coined that. I don't know that I've ever uttered
I think
that.
some other experts are saying it.
Oh, it's a new one to me. People are saying he's too much of a podcaster, not enough of a football player anymore.
Too much time behind the camera. It's a tough life.
I think those takes are outrageous. I don't think that he's changed. And I mean, the podcast is so limited, but there is definitely a combination of some things going on there with the offense, that being one of them, the connection with Goff and St. Brown, the offensive line, Dan's decision-making on some of those drives. It was a lot of things, and it was a storm of things. It wasn't just one thing last night. Dan said today, though, if you're worried about the St. Brown-Goff connection, it's coming. So do you guys buy that? Think that's just hope?
I'd buy that. I'd buy that stock. I'd buy it.
I mean,
Blow up game against the Giants incoming?
I'd buy it too, but I just think that's just years of playing together. He knows they'll bounce back. They had a bad game. 'Tis what it is. They'll be back.
Yeah, I think we can all overreact, but I also think there's legitimacy to the drops, right? Mitch, what was the stat? He's in the top 10 in drops, and certainly didn't help his case last night.
Yeah, still gotta be up there. I don't know what it is after last night, but he was top 10 with 5 drops coming into the week. I don't know how that works. I don't know what. I don't know if it's like if it hits hands, 2 hands, 1 hand. I don't know how that works. He had at least a couple last night. I don't know. It's just one of those games that as Lions fans, we were probably mostly engaged, but it just never felt good. It never felt. I was more excited to watch the defense last night than I was the offense, and it should not be like that with where they're at, and it's starting to feel like it's almost like when a baseball team just spends all their money on hitters and they have no pitchers.
Or the other way around, like the Tigers.
Yeah, well,
couldn't buy runs this postseason, right?
Like, hey, you got all these like Ferraris, but you've got no garage to put them in, like nothing to keep them safe, and that's where we're at. Like, there's no, Ben, you said it, like this. There's no time to let this offense develop the way it needs to, and to jump ahead, like this is the Jared Goff problem. It is. He is maybe the least mobile quarterback in the NFL. And this is what you get. Like he's not a threat to escape. He's not a threat to scramble. He gets maybe a 5-yard scramble every 3 games. And if you're a defense, like you get to scheme up the offense differently. Like you can rush 4 and be comfortable knowing Jared's not going anywhere. Like you don't have to spy Jared Goff. Like the way that the Lions have to play Baker, like someone's got to be like in tune. Like, is Baker going to go? So I don't, again, like there's not like Lamar's are a dime a dozen. No, I'm sorry. Lamar's are rare, not dime a dozen. Lamar's are very rare, but there is zero threat Jared's ever going to leave the pocket. And there were a couple times we saw it last night where I thought, like I texted you guys at one point, like there were 2 yards in front of him. If he just goes and gets them, just go get the 2 yards and slide, instead of chucking the ball at your running back's feet. So you just get like the not intentional grounding. Like I don't know, like it's limited. And with all that pressure, you have to have you have to have a top offensive line. The offensive line is not what it was last year.
It's not what it has been in several years. It's been an all-pro offensive line across the board. And we've seen Vanilla Vic make some moves at times, but it's absolutely a last resort for him. And so you're right. Teams don't even have to account for it at all. It's not even in their equation. It's not even on their scouting report because you just know it's so rare. And so you take that element out of it, and it limits you for sure. I saw a thing this week coming into this game, which I didn't like to see, but I tried to put away that negative energy. But I saw a compilation of all the times that Goff has gone against Vic Fangio-led defense, and I think with the loss yesterday, that now puts him at 1-5 against Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. And so coming into this one, it was 1-4, and I thought, well, I'll take that with a grain of salt. It was across a couple different teams. It was with the Rams, and of course, it was with the Lions when they were. I mean, with the Lions, it was 3 years ago, 2022, I think, or 2021. And so you know what the team was. It wasn't the same team, so I tried to take it with a grain of salt. But Vic Fangio obviously is prepared to go against Jared Goff and knows the game plan against him. And I think that's the biggest concern I have. We saw the Vikings generate a lot of pressure against Goff, and it's just throws his offense completely off schedule. This offense has to be moving forward, has to be moving with rhythm. Run game has to be established, and when that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's just an absolute dumpster fire, and it can be bad. It can get bad real quick.
And then time after time where it's like, hey, they finally get a big play. They finally do this, and then they just shoot themselves in the foot or they get stopped. Like, they're not going to face another defensive line with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. It doesn't exist. Like, that doesn't exist in the NFL. That's just that's unbelievable. Like, I don't even know what the comparison would be. That'd be like Hutch and Myles Garrett on the same defensive line. It's insane to get those guys on a line together. By the way, quick segue, Myles Garrett is an absolute freak, psychopath, disgusting human being. Yeah, I don't know. Last night was just frustrating. I didn't even know. Like, I don't really have anything else to say about the game. I feel like I just went on a nice little rant there. Like, the game, they never got anything going on offense. Not a complete, like you said, Ben, complimentary. And Jared got so rattled so early. Like, there was the one incomplete on fourth. Because he had someone in his face, he didn't see that he could have just floated something to the quarter of the end zone, and Brock Wright would have been the only one even remotely close to it. Just rattled.
Yeah, if he's not comfortable, he's not going through his progressions correctly. That's the Jared Goff way. Andrew, so it sounds like Mitch is done talking about the game. You want to go for like another 10 minutes talking about some stuff?
I can talk about some stuff, probably not about the game.
Oh, what do you want
to
to
talk about? Future Lions. We can talk about future Lions.
I do want to get
there.
As far
as last night, I'm rubber stamped. Like, just gross. Apologies to if you're a defensive football guy, you liked what you saw last night. You saw some good plays. You saw
Jack Campbell
with Fred Warner out, maybe the best middle linebacker in the game right now, and Jack Campbell. Like, the emergence of Jack Campbell is unbelievable. But if you're an offensive person,
Amik and Rock absolutely locked down the corners positions too. Then they held AJ Brown to his second worst game of all time.
That's honestly surprising because it felt like they were heavily targeting AJ in that game too. Felt like they were trying to force feed him the ball.
After his comments on Twitch, right?
What were they?
I can't remember. Oh, drop me on fantasy if you have me.
So no, nothing.
I saw some things about the offensive line and some potential fixes, including once Miles Frazier is activated, which will probably be in the next week or two. You could move him into the starting lineup if he's ready. I saw some things about benching Glasgow because that's where a lot of these issues start, right? Is at that center position. You're really missing Frank Ragnow out there. And then you could elevate Michael Neese or Tristan Colon to play the center position. I don't know how I feel about that, but do you guys think it's bad enough that they would need to do something drastic like that and switch up the offensive line mid-season?
No, I think if Glasgow is your starting center, I think, especially with guys that are already on the team, You've already evaluated him as the best player at center, so he's not going to move out of there for somebody else. With Frazier coming back, though, if Frazier is that good that he beats out the other guys, they may slide Glasgow to left guard with Mahogany still out here. Bring in Frazier at center and then Ratledge at the right guard still.
I can't remember the positions that Miles Frazier played in college. Guard, tackle. Did he play center too? So he could play it all.
He's a triple threat.
But would you feel comfortable with a rookie off of an injury?
I already don't feel comfortable with the rookie not off an injury that kind of got injured last night.
Seemed like every play, a lot of the offensive linemen were laying flat on the ground, and it was concerning because they were just getting beat up out there.
Run blocking, they're pretty good. They're a pretty good unit. They work together well. Pass blocking, it's like they all of a sudden look like an old miner's smile, and they've just got gaps everywhere. They are porous. They are set up for stunts. It's like guys looking directly one direction and got no idea what's going on the other side of their bodies, and guys running right by them. It's tough to watch.
We've been spoiled.
Honestly, the loss of Frank Ragnow is duly
the kingpin,
and I think losing Zeitler was bigger than really what was thought of in the moment. You lose one, fine, no big deal. You lose them both at the same time, and it's really tough.
Really tough bringing in rookies too, who are good, right? But you're just not going to replace with rookies right away. That's going to take some time, and a new offensive coordinator in there too. I'd be curious to see what Hank Fraley and that offense does, though, if there is any shifts on what happens there with who they put out there in the front.
Yeah, it's tough to know because they obviously used a lot of Dan Skipper, but losing Laporta at the same time, he's also a big time blocking guy for him. So losing him at the same time is also just another one of these things.
Yeah, Dan was hinting at the possibility that he could be out long term too. I don't know if you saw that today.
Yeah, and what is it's something in the back. What is the official word on it?
Dan just keeps saying it's a back. I know that some of the doctors, including the ones I've sent to you guys, have speculated about what it is. Assuming or speculation is that it's in the spine, right? So he's got some spine issue, right? So like do a little demonstration there. Shout out to the YouTube. So if your spine's like this, it can go like this, right? So I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a doctor, but that's what it was explained to me by some doctors was they did a demonstration like this. So basically it's non-surgical. It's not something that's going to require surgery, but it's a potentially longer than the 4 games that he's on IR right now is what I'm getting at.
That ain't it. Mitchell, you're the Laporte guy in the group. What do you have to say?
I mean, I just first 2 rounds better be offensive line next year.
Need it.
There's no
desperately.
other choice. No other choice.
Honestly, wouldn't mind seeing him
got
pop back in.
serious needs on the interior of that defense or on the interior of that offensive line, and you have an aging left tackle. You've got to get for real right now, because if you're not going to address the interior, which is probably the biggest need, then you got to really anchor down, and Jared's got to know, okay, I know I can flip outside of the pocket, assuming he can move. Like, no one's coming on his blind side. And if you're not going to address left tackle of the future, you got to get the center that you think is going to start next year, if they're there, right? Like, that's assuming that talent is there, which isn't always a lock. But I think if there's someone that they're passionate about, interior or left tackle, they've got to get serious and think about using some serious draft capital to address the needs.
Giovanni Monte.
Because Goff is here. Like, now I'm like right into my next thing. Like, Goff is locked in through, I think, 2029. I think next year you got to address the offensive line, And then I'm looking at the 2027 draft. I have no idea who's out there for quarterback. If there's a quarterback you like in the 2027 draft, you have to get him because this isn't going to work with Goff. There's not going to be any of this cycle back with like, hey, yeah, it's okay to have Peyton Manning out there. Like I think you draft someone in the 2027 draft and then you know they're going to sit for a year. Make Goff earn it in 2029 when he's, 35 years old, 34 years old. This is not sustainable. You cannot have someone in a wheelchair back there.
If he's slow at 30, imagine when he's going to be at 35.
When's Arch coming out?
Yeah.
I listen. I think it's very okay for Lions fans to be appreciative of what Jared has done, to recognize that he is a good arm talent, and then also just say like, yeah, the dude can't move back there, and it's like last night it hindered the offense because there's no creativity. Like imagine if there's a little more time, like you see on some of these other offenses, where like, all right, quarterback's out of the pocket, so I know I've got 3 more seconds. Like the Kelsey and Mahomes special. Mahomes goes out and Kelsey just finds the soft spot in the zone. We don't see that in the Lions. Like there is none of that. So it's not to say like Jared's a bad quarterback, but I think, facing a top defensive line or just like a good defensive line with the current state of the offensive line, it's not going to work. So again, Jared's here for a while. I think you got to address the offensive line, but then you have to get serious about the post Jared Goff future. Like I think after next year, and it can't just be like let's take a flyer on a Hendon Hooker and hope it works out. If there's some talent there, you got to go get it and think about what happens after Jared.
Yeah, I think as far as the offensive line and Jared Goff goes, Giovanni Manu not being the heir apparent replacement for Taylor Decker, I think is a big shot in the foot. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy. He gets one opportunity, doesn't really show much, and goes immediately to IR. Does anybody think he'll be starting in the NFL ever again? I'm going to say no.
No.
I think he's done. So
I don't see it.
Like it feels like all the backups are now depleted. Like your development tank is gone.
So start fresh in this upcoming draft and the subsequent drafts to follow. Get you some Big Ten guys out there. Get you a Big Ten guy and fill that tackle position.
Gotta get a free agent or two as well.
Yeah, like you did with Big Z, right? That was a good fit. Like it complemented the rest of the offensive line to have a veteran in there with some young guys. And I'm not saying they need to fill the entire offensive line with free agents because that doesn't make sense either. But I think a blend of through the draft, free agents, this upcoming offseason, patch those holes, just like you were saying. It's looking like a miner's mouth out there. Is that what you said?
Miner's smile.
Miner's smile.
That flows better.
Miner's smile, yeah, for sure does.
I don't like the way you say mouth, Ben.
Mouth.
No, don't say that either.
No. I'll get myself in trouble. Miner's smile and Let Down Brown. Do you have any others for us? You're on a roll.
We'll let them roll off the tongue.
Let that baloney stick where it may. Did you guys expect to see, you spoke about explosiveness. Did you expect to see like a little bit more trickery last night? I kept thinking on some of these 3rd and 4th downs, we were going to see something just to manufacture some spark other than a fake punt.
I thought we were getting a flea flicker so hard. I mean, there was so many times where Jahmyr Gibbs would just, they would run right up the middle and everything collapsed, and he's really just pushing on the backs of people. I really thought they were going to have that, toss it back to Goff for a pass. Like, I was smelling one.
Gibbs is just an animal out there. I think the day that he had gets overshadowed by the day that the offense had as a whole. But man, Gibbs was the one out there. Gibbs was doing his part. Everybody else kind of didn't show up, and it all starts with Dan and these guys. But yeah, just not complimentary from the offense and the defense. Like you said, Mitch, that's where the silver lining is. That defense played so strong, and I know that Philly struggled offensively against the Packers, who is also a good defense, but it's a good barometer still of what this defense has become under Calvin Shepard. So that's one of my silver linings. The defense under Shep is way ahead of schedule and exactly what we wanted when we had the news that Shep was going to take over the defense. He couldn't be doing a better job out there, and now we need the offense to. We don't need the offense to be top 5, but we need them to certainly be more than what they were last night. The extremes, with the 500 plus yards of offense that you had against the Commanders, that's great. The Commanders' defense is doo-doo, but you'd expect to see a little bit more production. And granted, they had some yards thanks to Gibbs last night. Just weren't converting when they needed to, and weren't obviously translating those into points and not helping out their defense. And special teams has been a problem too. I think we don't talk enough about special teams. Leaf is struggling back there, but I think a lot of that has to do with the blocks in front of him too. Got a lot of guys that are injured that are playing that special teams role that are missed from this injury as well. The starters, of course, impact the game, but also these secondary guys in the special teams units.
Got to give a little bit of leeway to Leaf for the weather last night. Catching punts as difficult as it is, you get some of that wind. They're pretty difficult as well. I'm with you on the blockers though there too. That's got to be better. I mean, absolutely no time.
I think a great time for Rodrigo to come back into this lineup, expecting him to be activated this week, not only for what he's going to do in the linebacking core, but more so what he does on special teams. All positions of the special teams. They really miss that kind of guy out there, right? He's missed desperately, and will be activated, we assume, this week. He's on his last couple days of his 21-day window. Watch out for flying pens.
And phlegm.
Oh, shout out your hat. Because of Jamar Chase.
Wet. Right over my head.
Yeah,
right over my head. I look like Mike McDaniel.
It's the Burrow return.
All right.
Joey Ice, what do they call him? Joey Cool? Joe Cool?
Isn't it the cigarette
I don't
guy?
know. I don't know. But I do know that you can watch us on YouTube. Should have said that earlier. Watch us on YouTube. If you want to watch us in video format, it's available every episode. It's also available on Spotify video. You can like us and rate on Spotify and Apple. And you can also subscribe. We see all the new subscribers on YouTube, so we thank you. We thank you for your service, and we thank you for those who have been commenting on Spotify and on YouTube. We see you. We appreciate you. Other silver linings. You guys have any silver linings about this Lions team and what we have going forward?
Nothing good.
The toughest part of their schedule, I believe, is over. So they've got
Agreed.
Listen, they've got some challenges, right? Like they've got the Rams, who are the new Super Bowl favorites. And Matt Stafford is officially the MVP odds-on favorite. So they've got the Rams, they've got some NFC North to play, but I think winnable games. Like there's no reason they don't beat the Giants. You're looking at 7-4, really tough one against the Rams. And then I expect as much, and I'm mixing some of these up, so I'm sorry. I expect as much emotion as physically and mentally possible against the Packers on Thanksgiving. I expect them to go out so hungry after they got embarrassed by a Packers offense that can't do anything. I expect big things, but back half of the schedule is easier. You've got all kinds of chips on your shoulder, as you should. This is where Dan thrives, right? Like this is Dan's coaching element. So I think we're okay. I think realistically we all said 12-5. Is it achievable? Yeah. Gonna be tough. Yeah. But the silver lining is it's all out in front of us. Time to be some back nine of the courses here. Beat it up.
I said 8 of 10 out of the bye, and that would mean they'd have to win out from now on. So
Well, that's perfect. This is their time to have their Rodgers or Joe Burrow moment, and You can run the table, you can win out, whatever, however we want to say it. It's their opportunity. It's in front of them. Yes, it's tough. I think every game in the NFL is tough, though. You never know who's going to be hurt, who's going to be actually playing. Sometimes you get a team at the right time. Sometimes you get them at the full force. But I mean, as far as that game goes, I think if you convert any one of those third downs, it's a one-score game. You never know what happens. So it's really disappointing they couldn't do one of those. But, experts said before the season their outlook on the season was looking like 5 losses. So they're right there in the window of what these so-called experts were calling for. So I think we got an opportunity here. I think we're still in good shape. And 12 wins is still a really good season. Usually gets you into the playoffs.
High-level analysis.
That's what that was. And the experts, of course, you shouldn't go to any other experts but the experts here on this podcast. Come for the banter, stay for the stats. I think we used to say that about this here program.
Lost the stats for a while.
We did. But that's okay. Next level, next gen stats, we get like middle gen stats, like current gen stats, not next gen here. I like what you said about the NFL though, and it's certainly been that year in the NFL. It's been wide open. Anybody can beat anybody, more so than any season I think I can recall in recent memory. So I think that's another silver lining. The NFL is wide open, and I think that bodes well for a Lions team. Just get your foot in the door in the playoffs, whether that's win the North or get the last seed, one of the last 2 seeds in the NFC. I think very well, like you said, Mitch, Packers on Thanksgiving is going to be a huge matchup. Could very well be could decide the division, and certainly would be a huge one for the Lions because of their loss to the Packers earlier this season. It will have huge implications, and we'll see what happens with the Bears too, who currently sit atop the NFC North, which is just a bad look. And the Lions right now, if the playoffs started today, would not be in the playoffs. NFC is tough right now. And one other thing, which basically echoes my last silver lining, which basically echoes what you said, Mitch. I think we'll get a throwback. You got to embrace this position that you found yourselves in, Lions, and embrace the grit that you used to be built on. And I still think has the framework of that, but it seems like they've gotten a little bit of the entitled feeling towards them, some of them at least. And I think you got to get back to your roots, get back to the grit that got you here, and grind it out into the playoffs and be the road warriors that you have to be.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say.
There you go.
Win some football games.
Turnover counter, Andrew. I think DOA. I think we're done.
Hey, we don't quit.
We need 21 or 20 more still with 7 games remaining. 3 a game.
One octo turnover game and you're right back in it.
So as well as the defense is playing, not generating turnovers in the last 2 games, but it's probably because they're getting off the field so quickly.
Ooh,
so it's
there you go.
It's kind of two. I shouldn't have done the hand thing. It's probably two sides of that coin.
Yeah, turnovers on downs unfortunately don't count.
They should. They really should. That's the next gen stats that we should start coming up with.
Yeah, where the hell are you, Prime?
I'm gonna slightly the PI call obviously sucked.
Didn't
I'm
think
over
we
it.
were gonna talk about it.
I'm over it because you know what? We got gifted on one of the tush pushes. We got gifted a punt. And we did nothing with the possession.
Honestly though,
shout out to the tush push stoppers.
If they get that turnover, they get the ball back. Did you have faith the offense was going to put points on the board?
Exactly. Again, you want to. You don't get to complain about that. Don't leave it up to the refs. Leave it up to the refs. It's a bad call. So
if Philly would have punted there, the Lions would have gotten the ball at the 20, the 15 probably.
Yeah.
So
not only the drive ended 8 yards later.
Exactly. Although let's say they find their groove right and they get into the end zone, they're going to go for 2 and try to go for the win. Dan is not going to chance that to go to overtime. There's no shot. He believes that his offense is going to survive in overtime against Philly. So they're gonna go for 2. I think if they would have scored, they probably wouldn't have gotten the 2-point conversion, and then that would have just made it so much worse.
And it's all just irrelevant. It's all just irrelevant.
right.
There was nothing going on offense besides Gibbs. That's why he's my BAMS player of the week.
And my BAMS goes to Amik and Rock because they were absolutely holding down the corners of that defense, and the defense just showed out yesterday. I'm so freaking happy for the defense and Shep. Offense, where you at?
Mine goes to the mother wins. She was on full display. A lot of ducks coming out of Jarrett's hands there. And on the other side of the ball,
Whack.
give me the entire defense. It was a strong performance, put in a lot of tough situations, and to come away with 16 points. Pretty good day's work.
Correct. We'll take that every week. I think the only thing I would like to see more on the defense was more pressure. We saw Hutch absolutely demolish Lane Johnson on that first possession or second possession, I can't recall. And then it kind of sizzled out from there. And then they had a backup in, of course, for Lane. But yeah, and the pressure rate, I think I saw they popped up 5% at one point in the game was the pressure rate that Hurts was feeling. I think that's the one thing we would have liked to see more from that defense. But outside of that, defense played great. Halftime capsules? Or do we skip it this week?
Give us the pain.
I don't even want to know what I said because I don't care anymore.
We know what you said.
Hey, Mitch was optimistic, if I recall.
I was a little bit,
Is
yeah.
it one of those
Well, surprisingly,
words?
though.
It's one
What?
of those statistic words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only. Are you gonna play him? No. Listen. The only other thing I'm gonna say, and I don't really give two deuces what anyone thinks. I don't want them to extend Brian Branch. To figure it out, dude. Grow up. Enough with the penalties. Like, you don't know what a penalty is anymore. Not to mention the fact that he very much could have gotten one later. He went headhunting on AJ Brown again later in the game. Like, what are you doing?
Seeing red out there or something. I don't know. Dude gets possessed once he's got the helmet on and the alien mouth guard.
It's so frustrating that, like, he is such a talent, but, like, you just can't take that next step and, like, pull up a little bit. And I don't know. I'm just like, the penalties are just, and they always feel costly. It feels like, and that very well could be just a feeling. It feels like Branch's penalties always come on a third down. I don't know.
Even if it's not a third down, they're extending the drive regardless because they're automatic first downs.
In a game that's so, like, predicated by field position, and your defense is doing so well, and I just feel like who else on the team gets penalized as for Terrion, maybe, and even Terrion's been better. I know he hasn't been playing as much, but, like, I just feel like there are guys that make that mistake once, maybe twice, and Branch just seems to, like, his unsportsmanlike. He has to have a pretty high, like, check, like the regular check withdrawals to unsportsmanlike to the NFL, and the same with JMO. I know I touched on it, but dude, you cost your team a point. You have to grow up. You have to grow up at a certain point, and JMO is such a ridiculous talent, and I know that he does so much in the community. I think he's in, like, as far as, like, being selfless for the team and being the guy that'll go block and always get in his nose and stuff. Just, like, you got to take that next step and like, your mental game has to be stronger. You have to know, I can't jump on this goalpost or it's going to be a flag. Number one. Number two, I can't jump on this goalpost. It's going to be a flag. It's going to be a 48-yard field goal when the winds are blowing 30 miles an hour. I don't know. I could be alone. Maybe I'm just like the grumpy old get off my front porch, but, like, the Branch stuff, I really don't get. And JMO's just like, that's just so close. It just feels like twice a year we're like, JMO, man, you just got to grow up.
Good for a couple every year. Brian Branch has been fined 13 times.
Do you have $1?
It's over nearing $150,000.
Goodness.
I thought it would be more than that. Because
I think that
my
doesn't
understanding
include
was-
the game check that he lost for being suspended, though. If you include that, it's over 200,000.
Yeah, there you go. That's a lot of money. I thought it would be more than that, just based on the fact that I think it elevates. If I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, so like the more you go on throughout the season, it elevates higher and higher.
Correct. The more you get, the more you pay. Yep. It's a graduated scale, I think is what that's
Can
called.
I say this though? Out of the JMO celebration, I really hope next week if he scores again, Glasgow or Rutledge or one of these linemen or Sewell has to come in and pose as a goalpost, and he's got to come wrap around him because it would be incredible.
Yes. Please.
It's easy. It's easier to say now and be like super grumpy about it because I do think it changed the outlook of the game. And I think anyone who disagrees just I guess you don't. I don't know. I don't want to say like no one understands the game, but like it did. It had ramifications on the game because it changed the number of possessions and the total touchdowns that the points or that the Lions had to score. It just did. So, it's easy to say, but yeah, I guess if you go off next week and have some fun.
Yeah, well, if it's the Lions that we know, they'll have a great game next week, and people will start to forget about this game, and then it's on to the Packers. But if you struggle against the G-men, who had a close one against the Packers, have had a lot of play teams pretty tough. G-men are no slouch, and I'm a little bit surprised to see the Lions 10.5-point favorites next week. Honestly,
there's nothing to say that your turnovers are dead. Not with famous Jameis back there.
I think Jackson Dart's going to be back, right? He's got to be. He's got to be out of protocol by then.
Darts to Lions.
If you're the Giants, you fired your head coach. Like you have probably like another reset coming. You're gonna have to get a new head coach, a new system. Why wouldn't you just rest Dart the rest of the year? What's the point in marching him out for what?
Is it going?
You're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to hurt your draft pick. Like you're paying Jameis Winston. Just let the season be what it's going to be, and protect Jackson Dart long term.
Andrew?
Just sit him down. I mean, I'm with Mitchell. You've got the reset coming, but I think he's the same thing as like a Scatterbo, right? Like that's the whole point. They were good buddies. They're both knuckleheads together. I think he's like a Baker Mayfield. He's too much of a gamer where he's gonna throw a fit if he doesn't go out there and play for this team.
Right.
The Giants have two wins. Like I think we've got to be close to like teams getting eliminated season, I would think. So
Titans got to be.
I don't know. I think if it's me, and which obviously the Giants are probably like a little bit dysfunctional. If I'm the GM, like Dable just got fired, I probably cling to a little bit of what Dable was trying to do. Like Jackson Dart can save my job. Like I'm telling whoever the interim is, like Dart is done for the season. Then I go to the ownership and I'm like, hey, give me one more year with this kid to build around him, and let's see what I can do.
I'm gonna get Scatterbo
I don't
back.
understand.
Yeah. I'm gonna get
Neighbors
Yeah.
comes back.
Good call.
I don't understand why they would play him the rest of the year.
7 more weeks, and that means we're on to ESPN playoff machine. So if you're a Lions fan, shareholders out there, it's simple. Lions got to win games. I think their magic number is 11, truthfully, to win the North or at least get in the playoffs. You got to at least get a 10 or 11.
Chance to make playoffs, right?
Did, but this NFC is just so strong. I don't know. It's gonna be a grind, and if you're rooting for losses, you're gonna obviously want to root for the Bears and the Packers to lose, but also San Francisco losses help too. So all of those teams you want losses from, like here on out. But we'll talk a little bit more about the playoff picture. Last thing before we get you out of here, of course, we got to do the pigskin spin recap. Mitch, you've got one going on currently with Cowboys and the Raiders.
Happy to lose my Chiefs pick. Very happy. To lose that one.
Loser.
Papa B 2-0, myself 2-0.
What's up, dog? What's it like?
Can't catch a break, man.
What's that?
Ben?
I said you can't catch a break.
Official handshake. Good week.
had a close one there with the Texans. Did I? And Andrew, you had a close one with the Ravens and the Fins. Both of your games.
Oof.
Fins. You said Fins way up though. So did we deduct like half a point for that?
Hey, they were way up in Spain.
That was a tough game to watch, but like a lot of fun, ugly games this week. Not a lot of pretty.
Well, let me tell you this about the international game. You still got the international radio broadcast team. Westward One, I believe, is what it was. Same guy, except for he gets a different American every time, and the American is by far the worst part of the show. I don't know this guy's name, but he's got my attention.
So he does games even if they're not international, is what you're telling me?
He does Westward One. Westward One Sports.
Okay, because we're done with international games for the remainder of the season.
Yep. I don't know if he's like NFL UK, what is he affiliated with? Something like that, though.
Thank goodness, though, because I'm the morning football is fun and all, but it's going to be nice to go back to a little bit more streamlined Thursday night, Sunday, a normal schedule, and Monday.
Yeah, man, you're trying to get some chores done Sunday morning. Now I got to throw them into the ears, get the chores done while listening to it, and then scramble back to catch a little and watch some football.
Mm-hmm. Thought you were shouting out the Lady Lion there.
No, it's a shower. It's a shower.
I thought I was being threatened. Tommy, bleep that.
Sorry.
Mitch loses the Chiefs pick, and he's got Cowboys in action right now against the Raiders.
3-3. The Raiders.
That one could go either way. Pete Carroll, sneaky Pete. Guys, anything else? Happy to put this one behind us, I think.
Rear view mirror.
Rear view. Home stretch.
Pretend it's like a fart on an inside roller coaster in Cedar Point. Put it behind us.
Golly. Got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, boys.
Specific.
We're making a family-sized omelet this year.
Raise your hand if you believe in Dan Campbell. I'm rooting for him.
Mitchell's not
I think we all
a
are.
roller coaster. He's got a lingering fart there.
That seemed oddly specific. Was that a throwback to perhaps a time there once? Oh wow. Was that
live action?
Was that an old Motorola Razor clip? Was that an old voice memo from back in the day? I think Mitch needs to go to bed. Mitch needs to go to sleep. It was late night, Sunday night action. Always gets you up late. But hey, back in the 1 o'clock window next week against the Giants, right where they belong. Got to get this ship right. Absolutely got to beat the Giants next week. That's no excuses next week. No excuses type of week. Right the ship. Get yourself right for Thanksgiving against the Packers. 7 more weeks of Lions and the NFL. We'll talk more on the playoff picture coming forward. Thank you, shareholders, for being here. We appreciate you watching and viewing and listening and doing all the things that you do for us. Thanks for being here. Once again, we appreciate you more than you ever could know. Until Wednesday, let's go Lions into week 12.
Meow. That's right.